He wants to explain about the film we did last, was it?
18 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, tell them about it. They are listening.
We actually filmed a Gambian band practicing. Not a Senegalese band, but a Gambian band. And they come out of Banjul and Senegambia. And they're called Afro Manding of the Gambia. And they're all drummers apart from a kora player. And Sibu, wherever she's gone, practices with them occasionally. And they let her do it because she's quite good. On this particular occasion we were actually filming them because we wanted them to get some footage up on YouTube of what Gambian music was actually like. Not Senegalese music, not music from all the other African countries that all seems to come in. Mali particularly is a big one at the moment. But because Gambian music itself it's been marginalised. You know what I mean? It's been put to one side because people want popularity. The kids, the youth, they want the bling, they want the fame, but they're not prepared to put the work in. Those particular musicians, and I know them, you know, two of them quite well. I've worked with them on stage in the Gambia, as Kalsu knows, because he was actually there. We managed to get 2 days, when we did it, we managed to get 2 days practice. We flew in, 2 days practice, did the gig, did another gig in the centre of Fajikunda in the middle of the street, which was great, and flew out again basically, that was it. We did it ostensibly to raise money for a youth club, of which the girls were members, but we've kept in touch with the musicians over the years because it has been, what, 4 or 5 years now since we did that. And they're friends of mine, and they say exactly the same thing, that Gambian music, there is such a thing, but it's been pushed to one side. Nobody wants to put it on because they don't feel that it's going to be popular in the same way as Leybato, who's been mentioned, Youssou N'Dour's been mentioned. They're popular artists. Youssou N'Dour is one of the biggest artists in the world. You know, he's known worldwide. Japan he's known, USA he's known, Canada he's known, South America he's known now. He's one of the biggest artists in the world. Now, one of the problems with the Gambia is that as a country itself, it's poorer than Senegal. You've got very little in the way of recording studios that are up to date. You've got very little in the way of encouragement for bringing Gambian musicians to the fore. Hadi and I went to see a band that the festival that I work for in the UK put on, a band called Juju. Now Juju is, they got their name because the 2 lead players are Justin Adams, starts with J-U, and Jolda Camara, who some of you will have heard of, the Fuller Christian player, plays the violin thing. And Jolda is J-U as well, so J-U, so that's how they got their name, Juju. And they topped the bill at this festival, and they were brilliant. Now, that's a Gambian player, and he's currently playing with a guy called Robert Plant, who used to be the lead singer of Led Zeppelin, which was the biggest rock band in the world. And he's in Robert Plant's band. There is a possibility that Gambian musicians can make it, but they're going to have to move out of the Gambia to actually make it. There is no encouragement in this country for musicians. I've seen enough of Gambian musicians around. Hadi and I used to go to Joko when it was a nightclub, if we were in the country, if there was an event on, and we'd just go and see whoever was on. Some of them are quite good, but I've got to admit, I would sooner listen to the guys in Afro Manding. What we got? 6, 7 drummers and a kora player, because they're playing natural Gambian music. They're playing Mandinka music as it ostensibly is, and they're not going to stop doing it because that's what they do and they love it. But those guys aren't getting any encouragement, and the only way that Gambian music will go forward, and I hope it does, I really do hope it does, because it is a great sound, but it doesn't translate to the youth because they can't see the blink, you know? They don't see the blink, they don't see the faint, they don't see anything like that. What they would see, if they actually went to see some of these artists, is musicianship, which you don't get with blink. Case closed. And I think that's really sad. I do think it's very sad.
To add on to what you said about Gambians making it outside Gambia when it comes to music, I think that was the issue in Gambia. Because if you can imagine the biggest groups in the Gambia that made any music scene were Ifam Bondi, Super Edward, and I think few other individuals like Vicky Blend and
yes.
Few of them. All of them made it outside the Gambia, and now the young ones, like there are few of the Suso family making it in the Europe. All of them are selling.
Jalex.
Yeah.
It makes it in Europe.
Yeah.
It certainly makes it in Scandinavia and Holland and Germany.
Yeah.
Not so big in the UK as yet, but it'll come.
No,
it will.
All of them are making it outside.
Will come
because of the promotion and the music.
Because
quality.
of the promotion, and that's where that's what it lacks in the Gambia, is someone with a vision of a promoter. There are no promoters with vision in the Gambia, that's for sure.
Yeah, sure. Because one thing is because there's no money.
That's correct.
There's no money. You
That's
cannot promote without money.
I know, and believe me, I do know that. I do that in the UK, so I do know that.
Yeah.
But you've got 2 concerts coming up in the Gambia, haven't you? There are 2 big ones coming up. One of them's all reggae, for crying out loud. What's reggae got to do with the Gambia? Can someone actually tell me?
Absolutely nothing.
Because reggae, which the youth all seem to love, is all based on the Rastafarian faith, which is totally anti everything that Islam stands for, and Islam is anti everything that reggae stands for. What on earth is reggae doing, you know, as the big music in the Gambia? I don't understand that.
I personally would prefer listening to drums,
You would?
Gambian local drums, than reggae music.
Right, well, come round the house and get Sibyl to play for you.
I enjoy the
noise of the drum.
I prefer that. Yes, that
I do, because it's real.
reggae one. Because I don't know reggae.
It's real.
What I know is mbal, tama and saba.
You should be talking about full music, my friend.
Thank you. Mbala Fula music is all
But that's culture.
Gambian.
That's what we know, and that's what we're gonna know.
Full music stuff.
Exactly, reading. That's what they call reading.
That's right. And if you're good at it, and it's only a 1-string violin when it comes down to it. But if you're good at it, my God, what a great sound.
I think it works like a violin.
Yeah, so basically it's a 1-string violin. But what a great sound. It's a wonderful sound.
And that fluid,
but then,
and that fluid that they
yeah,
use. That's nice.
Then you got the drums as well, and how many different? Hadi did the interviews when we filmed these guys. If you want to watch them, the films are on my computer at the house, so you can watch them. One of them's 26 minutes, the other one is I think 35 minutes. The second one. They were only practice sessions. They're not gigs. The band were literally practicing. The first one, the kora player didn't turn up because he took a paying gig, and you can't blame him. and it was money to him, so he didn't bother turning up for the practice, even though he knew he was being filmed. Jammeh. The second one, unfortunately, Hadim got the phone call at the end of the first one that his father had died, so he was doing the 40 days afterwards, so he didn't turn up for the second one, and their balafon player didn't turn up for the second one either because he had to work. Shame, but we did get the two things, and we finally managed to deliver them. We finally got all the footage together, and we finally managed to deliver them. They got them this week. They've actually got the footage, so they can put up their own. If they want to use it, they can put up their own footage. You know, it's theirs as far as we're concerned. You know, it's not ours, it's theirs. We did it because we had access to a camcorder, and we wanted to do something for them because that music is so good, and it should not be allowed to die just because people don't know about it. And I think the big problem is a lot of people don't know about it. It's your own music, but people don't actually know about it. There's very few people that actually know. You talk to people about it, and it's like, oh yeah, you Sendur, and it's like, hang on, he's Senegalese. You talk to her about it, and it's like, nah, he's Senegalese, Gambian music is this. It's like, yeah, she's right. She knows.
You know, it's just difficult, man.
I know.
It's just difficult.
It's very...
And one thing right now, what the producers, the technicians, music technicians are trying to do is get a music that will be the signature of Gambia, like what Senegal got. If Ndaga was found and made in Gambia, but the Senegalese took it
that's
because
right.
they were more concentrated on it, and then Gambians were like, there was a time that they ruled an authority about if you are playing music in Gambia, you will be jailed.
Yeah.
That's what sent all the musicians to Senegal and Europe.
In the first
that's
place.
why the music died out in Gambia.
Yeah.
Yusundur was learning music here.
Yeah.
Few of them like Uza and those few of their big dons were learning music in Gambia, but then it was Ndaga.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would have the video or an audio of Ture Kunda or few Ifam Bondi. If you listen to the music.
The second one you mentioned, I've actually listened
Ifam Bondi.
to. First one, I don't think
they do the same,
I've actually
similar
heard.
music. It's about Afro Manding and European instrument mixed together.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
mostly it was African music before they go to the Europe. That's why
I think that's where it'll head, but it's got to start at the root, and it's the root that's been, I don't know, it's been cut. Yeah.
That's what I'm working with one of the promoters right now. This is the 6th year we having an international festival, I can say. National. No, last year was international because we had an artist from Europe, Gambian. That was Rebellion Diricola. He's one of the famous Gambian artists right now in the Europe, but he's doing reggae. So you see, this year we are trying to get also another international Gambian artist, but we don't know who yet. So we are trying to get artists to start working on cultural music mixed with any other music, but let it be cultural, more of cultural music. So we play live band, drums and balafon and everything. That will just implement African instruments.
Afro Manding guys are probably quite
and now
happy
the crowd are starting to love. If you do more of African music, you get more followers than if you're doing outside music.
This is what we don't understand.
I've listened to Sizzler's, one of Sizzler's tracks, Sizzler Kalanji, who is a Jamaican, and there were drums in his music. So if we are doing reggae and not putting drums in our music, then we are just, it is like
sometimes even horror.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine this reggae with Tama?
Billahi, wait a hand. I've listened to Sizzler's track. Of course, there were drums and there was Tama.
Yeah, they are telling you something. Drums in Jamaica.
Reggae music with
Jamaica is like Africa. They love drums. They have different drums that they use.
One of the American guys that Sybil listens to, and she's got 5 or 6 of the guy's CDs, and he's a drummer from quite a well-known rock band in the USA. They're a rock band with 2 drummers, but one of them does his own thing outside. He writes books, he writes about where drums come from, what they mean to different cultures, what they mean to different societies. She listens to them and she tries to learn from them. Now his band currently is about an 11-piece band. There's 3 drummers in it, one of which is purely a Tamba. Purely Tamba, that's all it is. There's one with a kit, one with an electronic kit, and there's a Tamba. And that's all he plays all night, and sings. It's fascinating where music will take you sometimes. You just listen to it and you think,
Well, the thing is,
where's it coming from?
the thing about Gambian music, the most popular problem about Gambian music is that most Gambians try to copy other people.
Other people, that's right.
Yeah, they
Well,
try to copy Americans or the Jamaicans. We're just not going to walk in the Gambia. Because you cannot expect
Because
to be
we don't
doing.
know it.
You cannot rap or do R&B more than the Americans.
No.
You cannot do reggae.
No, you can't.
You know, so
But
if you try to do that here, it will not work.
The one thing you can do is take them on at their own game, because they take on, they're the big guys, and they will take a different culture and they will say, oh, this sounds good. I'll give you an example. One of the biggest albums in the world, Paul Simon, Graceland. Everybody in the Gambia must have heard it, because they all went around singing You Call Me Out. Took South African music, took South African township music, and he put it on the world map. Nobody knew about it before. It was small, marginalised music out of the townships of South Africa. He heard it because a friend of his gave him a cassette and said, oh, what do you think of this? This is brilliant. How do I get in touch with this? And he made this album, and it went around the world. Now people know what South African music is, and that is South African. Well, it's a collage of American South African music, but they know the bands that played on the album. They know the Bundu Boys that played on the album. They know the choir of Lady Smith Black Band Basel. Paul Simon's band includes currently, and you've got to remember Graceland was made in 1986, still includes 2 members of the band he put together from South Africa, who have obviously moved on to much bigger things because, they're getting the work now. Whereas prior to that, they were just township bands, and that's all it was. So it can do it, and it can bring people together, and it will if it gets a chance. And that's the saddest thing is that you've got a beautiful country that doesn't give the musicians a chance.
That's the problem.